partnered with the online investigative group Bellingcat to look into one particular participant in the attack on the U.S. Capitol January 6th. Her name is Riley Williams. She's seen here in this spot shadow, appearing to direct other rioters inside the Capitol. She gained notoriety, even among all the other people arrested for the January 6th attack, when she was charged, ultimately, with helping to steal a laptop from the office of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. The FBI cited in the charging documents a witness who claimed that Ms. Williams planned to pass that laptop to somebody she knew who was going to give it to Russian intelligence. Riley Williams denies the charges. Pelosi's laptop, incidentally, still has not been found. But what Bellingcat and Richard Engel discovered is that Riley Williams is also the woman in this incredibly creepy video. Her giving a Nazi salute. She's wearing a mask and sunglasses. She gives the Nazi Heil Hitler salute. She says Heil Hitler. She's wearing neo-Nazi symbols. She's advocating white supremacy in the video. The key that allowed Bellingcat to definitively prove that Riley Williams is the woman in the video, that indeed among the Capitol Hill rioters who have been charged thus far are explicit neo-Nazis, anti-Semites, and white supremacists. The way that they were able to do the legwork to figure out that that same person not only appeared in that video, but she had posted racist and anti-Semitic screeds to several different social media accounts. The key that sort of unlocked that was this photo that she posted from one of those accounts. It's a photo of that same woman, Riley Williams, at a right-wing pro-Trump rally in D.C. in December. And in that photo, she's standing next to one of the speakers at that rally, who was apparently her hero, a man named NickJFuentes. Bellingcat discovered in combing through Ms. Williams' social media history that of all the right-wing white nationalist groups and personalities she followed, this NickJFuentes guy was her clear favorite. Mr. Fuentes is an advocate for a whites-only homeland, as in a country exclusively for white people. I'll give you one guess as to what country he thinks that should be. His charming resume includes denying that the Holocaust happened, claiming that things were better in America under Jim Crow laws. He's pro-racial segregation, of course, the better to achieve, ultimately, a whites-only nation. He was at the white nationalist Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville in 2017. He rallied pro-Trump rioters outside the U.S. Capitol on January 6th this year. And this weekend, while conservatives and elected Republicans were holding their annual Conservative Political Action Conference, CPAC, this year was all about how Donald Trump actually won the election and he's still secretly the actual president. Well, that was happening at CPAC. This guy, NickJFuentes, hosted his own rival conference for Trump fans for whom CPAC wasn't enough, for Trump fans who needed something more radical. A conference for right-wingers who think that CPAC is just missing that explicit white nationalist, Holocaust-denying flair. NickJFuentes took to the stage at this conference, this America First conference that he hosted. And from there, he railed against a, quote, new racial caste system in this country with whites at the bottom. He said America needs to protect its, quote, white demographic core. It's really nice folks, right? Guess who the keynote speaker was at that conference this weekend? The keynote at the White Homeland Holocaust Denial Wasn't Jim Crow Great Guys White Nationalist Conference. Keynote speaker was a sitting congressman, a sitting 5-term Republican congressman. And by sitting, I mean, yes, he's still in Congress. Paul Gosar of Arizona. Not a single other sitting member of Congress would go near this white nationalist, white homeland conference. But for Congressman Paul Gosar of Arizona, sure. And, you know, don't just go. How about keynoting it? And yes, Paul Gosar is the kind of congressman who has said things like, the U.S. is already in a civil war, and, quote, we just haven't started shooting yet. He says stuff like this. He associates himself with causes like this. But keynoting the White Nationalist Conference? The Conference for America being a whites-only country? That is something that's supposed to be too crazy and offensive even for this Republican Party now, right? I mean, that's why they had to have their own separate conference aside from CPAC, right? Here's how Congressman Gosar's home state paper, the Arizona Republic, put it in a column today. Quote, where is the condemnation from Gosar's fellow party leaders? The ones who insist the lunatic fringe is not taking over the once grand old party. This is an easy call for a party that insists it's not the party of white supremacy. It ought to be an easy call. It ought to be an especially easy call because Paul Gosar was joined at the White Nationalist Conference this weekend by Steve King. Remember who Steve King is? Former Republican congressman. He is a former Republican congressman because he was stripped of his committee assignments, shunned, and ultimately defeated in a Republican primary after he said one too many nice things about white supremacy, and that was seen as over the line for the Republican Party. Steve King is Exhibit A for the Republican Party's straightforward playbook about how to handle these things. He's a walking, talking Exhibit A, standing there at that same white nationalist conference right next to Congressman Gosar. How come they're not going to use that playbook against Gosar, the guy who's still currently in Congress? Seriously, are you guys cool with this? TikTok, watch this space.